It's very hard for parents because what they want to do is almost like command their kid, don't listen to that, or that's wrong, or this is right. And my attitude is the best way to use technology is to do the opposite, not tell them what they're listening to is necessarily wrong or right, but to tell them how worthy they are and share the wisdom of people who've actually lived a long time ago, who were legendary thought leaders who thought of it. Share them real wisdom, share with them real feelings.
Welcome to Be Bold Branding, where we discuss the power of differentiating yourself through your own unique story and standout personal brand. There's no question that we live in a more disconnected world since entering the age of technology. But today we're hoping to encourage you to take a closer look at using technology to become more connected, not less, and especially to those people who matter most of all. We're speaking today with Tammy Cohen, an author with an important mission to help parents change the conversation and connect deeply with their children in a simple way by using the same technology that has been causing the disconnection. Tammy's new book is called Text Messages to My Sons, Connecting Deeply in a World of Devices. Today, we'll find out what inspired the book and how her concept can change your relationships too.
Tammy, welcome to Be Bold Branding.
Thank you so much, Mike and Tanya, for having me here. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Yeah, this is a topic that hits home for everybody, with especially with kids, but anybody with family, and staying connected. Tell us what inspired you to write the book. Like, give us some background about it and what led you to this spot.
Well, it's very interesting because during the pandemic, when we were all shut down, and that was already a couple of years since it started, like 2020, I'm talking about. And I decided at that point, that I wasn't very happy with myself. I didn't like how I was feeling. I had a lot of saboteurs. There was a lot of things I knew I needed to work on. So I started indulging in a lot of mindset work and coursework, Mind Valley, Tony. I was just everywhere. I was everything you could think of, I was getting involved with. And I said, I'd really love to share this with my sons. And also, because we were locked down and living in different places, I said, I just want to change the whole conversation. Look, nobody's really having in-person conversations. I grew up, there was no cell phone, first of all. There was a landline, and you had to go home. You had to be someplace where there was either a landline with a cord. You had to talk to people, and it was a very different time. And I grew up that way, but I realized with my kids, it's not happening. It's not happening to anybody. Everybody's messaging. So I said, let me just start sending them text messages. I have a phone. Let me share what I'm learning. But I wanted them to know how much I love them, also how important they are, because I realized that I never really did those things as a parent when they were growing up. I was more just let the day finish, because there was just always something to do. And I realized that there was probably a lot of things that I did and said that I had to really take accountability for with them, because of my own unhappiness. And I just wanted to change it up. So I started messaging them. And before I knew it, everything was just coming from my heart every day. And it wasn't hard. I thought, oh my gosh, I have to get in a habit, doing this every day. It's 10 minutes a day, it's nothing. And I started doing it, and hats clats, here I am, because it became a book, all those messages.
That's awesome. Yeah. Especially how it took. I think everybody can relate to what you're talking about. I know I can't. Just from the title alone, I was like, oh man, if I text my kids, you know what I mean? Instantly I was called to the carpet myself. And, so let's get into some questions about that approach, if you want,
Yeah, I'd love to know, Tammy, first of all, I think this is a brilliant concept, absolutely brilliant. And from the moment I met you, I thought, oh, we have to have her on this show to talk about this because it's so fantastic. Let's go back to, okay,
so we're using technology in all the wrong ways sometimes, not every way. Technology is beautiful and wonderful, but in this way where it disconnects us as human beings, I'd like that. The first question I have are, what are some common mistakes that you think parents make when trying to use technology to connect with their children?
You know what? That's a really good question. I don't really know what the mistakes per se are, because you have to understand right now, like what's going on is you're fighting against algorithms by big technology companies. These algorithms are designed to steal your kids, everybody's focus 24/7, because their job is to overengage you. So how do you do that? You keep setting pings and this and then the social media, and it's very extrinsic kind of existence. So parents are kind of working, that's happening. And a lot of times, like I said, kids, they're not necessarily tuned into their parents, they're tuned into their peers, and they're tuned into what's going on around them. And especially, it's interesting because the book published literally 3 days before October 7th. I'm Jewish. And, everything changed, like even for my kids. And I think for the world, because we saw kids like losing themselves on college campuses and going nuts. And we saw this indoctrination, a lot of misinformation is out there. And it's very hard for parents because what they want to do is almost like command their kid, don't listen to that, or that's wrong, or this is right. And my attitude is the best way to use technology is to do the opposite, to not tell them what they're listening to is necessarily wrong or right, but to tell them how worthy they are and share the wisdom of people who've actually lived a long time ago, who were legendary thought leaders, who thought of it. Share them real wisdom, share with them real feelings, real emotions, because that energy starts, especially gratitude, appreciation, love, like these energy frequencies are so much higher than all the other stuff that's in technology. So fighting anger with anger, or telling them they're wrong, or getting into that and having those kind of saboteur conversations going on left and right, you're better off using the technology in a completely different way. And that's to spread love, inspiration, gratitude, appreciation, because these frequencies vibrate at a way higher energy. And that's the only advice I would give, because you can't take away the phone necessarily. The grown-ups. I mean, I speak with coaches who are coaching parents of 18 to 30-year-olds. These are grown-ups, right? So why are they the most disconnected, most addicted, most depressed? Like, what's going on there? Something's going on. And with all the ways you can connect, to be this disconnected and this marred and losing your focus and being indoctrinated all day long, something's going on. So we have to do the opposite. We have to let them know they're worthy. I'm going to tell you something. I don't know one kid, and I don't care how old you are, that doesn't want to hear from your parent and know that you're loved. Know that your parent loves you. You love your kids, but you want to know that your parents thought you were worthy. And it never gets old. It doesn't. And when we all move on to our next life, what's left? Memories. Memories of, remember the message in the lunchbox? I used to look at kids who got those, and I was jealous because I never got one, And I was just like, that's what the kids are going to remember. Those messages on their phone, they're going to see, they're going to know that you love them enough to send that message. You care. That's it. Simple. You don't have to make it difficult.
It is the simplicity of it is really awesome. And I'm thinking, okay, a personal point of this, right? And so we love our son very much. He's very successful, right? He's a very busy man. We'll actually get to see him this week. He's coming in town. Won't return a text message. I mean, this kid, I say kid, I mean, hell, he's 26 years old. And I'm like, dude, I know you return text messages to your friends. I know, let your mom and your stepdad know what's going on. What, but the cool thing about it is it's not necessarily that you get the back, you've got the send, right? So you've always got the, hey man, hope everything's going great today. Hope you have an awesome day. You've got that send, even if they're busy. You know what I mean?
They got it.
Because our youngest daughter does the same thing. You send it all day long. I'm like, you can't even thumbs up something. For God's sakes, just thumbs up. How long does it take? Just thumbs up.
I'll tell you the truth. And I hear this so much. They don't respond. What if they don't respond? I'm like, listen, you got to go into this with no expectations that they're even going to read it or respond, because they might not. Listen, my kids wrote the forward to the book because of what it means to them. But what do you think? They're like, Mommy, I love you. You're the best. You're such an amazing mommy. I want to hang out with you. No, it doesn't work like that. Sometimes I get an emoji. Sometimes I don't get any answers. Sometimes I'm like, good message. Sometimes it's like, well, that was a long message. But a lot of times I don't even, but I'm setting the energy. And you know what? When they open and they see that message, the energy that they're releasing because they received something beautiful. Like imagine you have the sender energy when you send it out, right? That you send them love, like how much you love them. And that's a beautiful thing. And then they're opening it and reading it and they're having this positive effect. So when my kids wrote the forward and we were here, we had guests over on Saturday, and my husband, one of the guests started reading the forward out loud. My husband was like, yeah, read it. And I started tearing up. I forgot that they even felt that way. And you know what they said? They said it makes them, these messages make them bulletproof. Like anything can go wrong in the day. Doesn't matter because they know somebody cares enough to do this,
Oh,
and that's why it could be anybody. You could send it to anybody. My hope is not just that they do it one day with their kids, but if they have a friend who's going through something, that they send them a message every day that you're worthy, you're a good guy. Like, I'm here for you. I'm your friend. Like, you matter. And that's what I think is important, that we all have to start being like the village, like really caring about other people and caring what's going on in people's lives and not be so, busy with looking at how many likes we have or how many followers or some kind of baloney, because most of what's going on with technology is they're giving you stuff. If you look at a train wreck, they're going to give you train wrecks all day long.
Right.
So how do you have to counter it somehow and get people to start thinking, you know what, I don't want to look at that anymore. Like, I just want to help people. I want to do something positive. So yeah, I think it's a good way to start. And it's not a one and done, that's the thing. It's not like I love you here and there. It's like you got to do it every day. That's where it's consistency, because they know you mean it.
Like what you're hearing? Hit that subscribe button and learn how you can change how you're seen and charge what you're worth.
And do you do different times of the day? Like you do the same time of day? Is there a right or wrong to that?
There's no right or wrong. Send a message because they're getting messages all day. Anyway, I try for the morning, but sometimes it's the afternoon. Sometimes, it's late in the afternoon. And sometimes, I'm just like, I'm going to just send them 2 lines because day was crazy, but it's still consistent. And I try to, a lot of dads, it's interesting. There's a lot of dads who, especially dads who are going through divorce and stuff, because they've lost contact on some level because they're not in the same home anymore. They're like, I love my children. What do I say? I go, look, here. It's a book, 206 pages of messages. Just take a message and tweak it. And I promise you, after you do it for a couple of days, it's going to come from your heart. It's going to be so heart-centered. You're going to notice things, and you're going to tell your kids about things around you that are beautiful. You're going to start noticing it because the love is coming out of you. So just start. And you can do it. You don't need, 30 years of therapy. You don't have to spend a fortune on a coach. You have a phone. Yeah, just start sending a message of love. It's not, like I said, it's not complicated. And that's what I realized, we just have to be more on top of that if we're going to counter the negativity that's out there right now.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And Tammy, what's interesting is when you send something like that to your kids, they absorb it, right? They're absorbing it even when you think they're not. Well, it's so wonderful when we have conversations with our kids and all of a sudden they're telling us about some advice they gave to a friend. And I'm just very quietly sitting there thinking, that's awesome. You were actually listening when I gave you that advice a few years ago. It makes you feel so good. And you're not expecting it. But I think one of the most poignant things you said is do it without expectations, because if you attach expectations to it, you're going to be disappointed. And not everybody behaves the same or does the same, but I know for sure they're absorbing it.
Yeah.
And that's all the difference.
Right?
Right?
And the power is in the giving, right?
Mm-hmm.
The power is actually in doing it. And and to use a thought process like holding up your yoke of heaven, like, right? Do like, I love your thought process, because that's exactly what we should be doing every day of our lives.
But
Is
you know
being,
what? Something that you said was like really profound when you said, like, my son was like, my child was sharing like advice he gave, listening, and so what are we? We're a guide, right? And if you want your kids to have respect or be respectful or whatever, you have to give them respect. I grew up in an age of, you respect me, I'm your parent, you listen to me, you don't talk back, you don't, and I think if we model respect and we give them respect, if we show accountability, they're going to be accountable. Like the first thing I was saying to my kids is, I was like, listen, when I yelled or when I went berserk on you, it wasn't you. It was never you. It was me. I wasn't happy. Something was triggering me, and there's nothing. And they started to see me almost as a human. Like I became a human being to them, which is something, you're a parent. But when you start becoming a human being to them, they grow up, it becomes different, and the relationship enriches because you're being accountable. So now they can be accountable. You can't expect a kid to be accountable in their life if you're not willing to show it. So when you said that, I was like, yeah, exactly. Like, look at your kid, like giving advice to a friend. That's the most beautiful thing, helping somebody because they're modeling you, because this is what you should. And the fact that you let them tell the story and didn't, jump in on it and just listen, I think it's incredible. And I think that's why the book is successful, because they're telling me it's so easy to read. It's not a lecture. I'm not lecturing anybody. I'm just like, these are messages. Take it or leave it. It's not a lecture. It's not, you should do this and do that. And so it's really poignant what you said. And I just wanted to point that out. I love it.
You bet.
That's awesome. How many, now you say text to my sons. How many sons do you have?
I have 3 sons.
3. That's awesome.
And you guys have so far I picked up on 2 kids. How many kids?
We've got 4 between us.
4. Wow.
Yeah.
Boys and girls, right?
But yeah, one son and 3 daughters. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one of them actually edits these videos. So she's going to get quite a kick out of this video.
Well, she'll like the fact we were beating up on her brother. That's for sure.
That's true. That's true.
That's for you, Katie.
Yeah, that's for you, Katie. And she will absolutely send a clip of that to her brother. So now, Chuck, when you're watching this, that's siblings for you. They love riling each other up. They have a great relationship. It's really a lot of fun to watch. So Tammy, are there any texting is the super easy way, right? But are there any other emerging, technologies out there, anything else that you think could impact the family unit similar to this?
Well, that's a good question, because right now, everybody has a phone either in their pocket, their handbag, or their hands. It's like, so anything that is on the phone, I mean, I don't know, WhatsApp. I mean, it's the same type of thing.
True,
I think
true. Or Snapchat, sending, videos. The kids are going to.
Right. I think if you send them a video message, it could be really cool too. But I haven't done that, and I haven't even thought about it because I'm not naturally social media and videos and do reels. It's just not my wheelhouse. I was always into writing, and I'm telling you, my kids, they'll be like, that was really long. Because my husband's like, you write the longest message. But, but it's that's my thing. I like writing. But it's whatever is your comfort level. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if people start using AI, saying, okay, I want to send a message of love. Please help me format it a message with love. I want to cover that. I think they're really great. I want to cover, these things. And can you please put that together? And this way I'll just send it.
Well, you know what? Let me touch on this, because I actually, you'd think a lot of people would be against that idea. And I probably would have been against that idea even as, a few months back. But I've been utilizing AI more and more. And, if you teach it your voice, there's certain things you can do there. But if you're looking at the difference between a very busy day, don't have a lot of time to do that, and you give it to AI and say, hey, here's some information about this person that makes them so special. I'd like to send them, can you create 25 text messages that I can send to them that would articulate that and pull in some quotes from famous people and things like that that would inspire them? It can give you so many starter ideas.
Right.
And it's either that or you sit here 3 weeks from now and you still haven't sent a single text message. So in favor, in lieu of actually having the time to do it and maybe, risking not doing it, I really love the AI concept of that, which is, hey, help me out with this. At least give me starters. Like you said, you can tweak them. Go open your book, right? And you have 206 pages there. They can tweak it, do whatever they want to with it, but they're conversation starters and ideas and inspiration. And that's what I love so much about your book. And it's so simple. It's such a simple thing, but there are no words for what it can actually mean to somebody. And I'm not talking about just your children. As you said, you can share it with anybody, right?
100%, 100%. That's what I try to explain to people. It could be to anybody that you love. It could be between a husband and a wife. It could be, not everybody has kids, but they love people that, like, why not? Why not just put it out there? Like, I'm thinking about you and I care. Because what is depression? It's lack of connection and it's lack of purpose.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know what? We don't have to medicate after these people. Just know that they let them know that people care, that people are available to them. And like I said, like you're saying, yeah, it has to be consistent. It's not a one and done. And however you can create that message, just start. It's not brain surgery. It's, you don't have to have a perfect message. Believe me, it's not perfect. I send messages with typos. Yes, when I put them in the book, I had to clean all that up. But my grammar's not perfect. Sometimes I'll repeat a message because I have the same thought about something, and I'm sure that I'm like, oh, they probably don't want to hear about that again. But it doesn't matter. It's just like they wait for those messages. It means something. They like it. And that's what matters to people. The simple stuff. Yeah, it really is.
Very simple stuff. Yeah. I remember this friend of mine, he started this club, and he started sending out these Bible messages at 8:08 in the morning. He just sort of did it accidentally. And then it came to him, he's like, hey, I'm going to call it the 808 Club. And he started sending out and that's all it was. It was just like a Bible verse. He just picked it out and he'd send it. And then he got to where he was like scheduling them out. So long story short, he gets this text one day from somebody. He doesn't recognize the number. And the text says, hey, I just want you to know something. I just got this number about 8 months ago. And it wasn't my number. It was a new number to me. And I don't even know who you are. But I noticed that you missed yesterday's 808, and I wish you'd keep, did I get kicked out of the, it was amazing. We were like amazed because this person was a dead stranger, like had no idea, but wanted to stay in the loop. Right. And so he got the name of the guy, put him in the loop, kept on going. So it is amazing actually. And we don't think about it where you have done something genius right here out of love for your boys. Now you've written a book about it. It's going to share it to other people. I'm excited about it, even with my kids, and our kids were just like, okay, I got to get back to, I got to do this. Because you took this thing that normally is associated with a disconnect, right? Normally years back, we're probably the same age. We grew up that way too. The text message is sort of cold with the way we look at it, but they don't look at it that way. This is a normal part of their life, and it's become a normal part of everybody's life. And why not use it for an instrument of love? It's great. It's a fantastic message.
Exactly. Can you imagine? Like, I remember when the phones first came out, and I was like, okay, who knew they would become like attached to everybody? I own a restaurant on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. People sit at the table every time I go. They're like on their phones and not even talking to each other, and they're in person.
Right.
Everywhere you go, it's like people are looking. It's a glue thing. So yeah, why not use it for something good? That's my attitude. Because it's not being used for good stuff on a day basis. Oh, yeah.
Right. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So Tammy, what's next for you? Any other thing on the horizon for you?
Yeah, I'm really pleased to say, well, I self-published text messages to my sons, and now I'm going to be working with Publisher on an expanded edition coming out towards the spring of 2025. It's going to have, see, the text messages, this book has the messages in 2021 and 2022, and I'm adding 2023 and 2024, but also writing some more about like each chapter title, why? Like why messages, why does it matter, gratitude and appreciation? Why does leadership and focus matter? Messages about that. Why did I choose, mindset? Why did I choose mindfulness? Like why those chapter titles? And why is it important to share those kind of messages? And I'm going to also, rework the intro and all of that stuff. So it'll be an expanded edition because basically I realize this is my mission. Like that's why I was put on this earth is to, besides having those boys, is to let people know that this is something that they can do, because otherwise it's little like, you start saying, what do I do? Like I feel completely discombobulated with everything. A lot of people are very, technology, it's kind of like, they're getting like, oh my God, another thing I have to learn, another thing I have to do. So why not take what's simple and use it for good? That's it. That's my message.
I love it. I love
Yep.
it. Well, Tammy, thank you so very much for coming on the show today. We think this is brilliant and we're going to get behind you 100%. The book is called Text Messages to My Son, Connecting Deeply in a World of Devices. Tammy, where can everybody find the book?
It's on Amazon, and or you can like always go to my website, which will take you right to Amazon, www.tcbrand, BRAND, TC, T as in Tammy, C as in Cohen, tcbrandconsulting.com. You can get right to the book from there too. You can always contact me on social media. Text Messages has its own social media, Text Messages to My Sons, and I also have social media on Instagram, Tammy J. Cohen. And LinkedIn, Tammy Cohen. So however you want to reach me, whatever you need, I'm available.
You can find her.
You can find me.
Thank you again, Tammy.
That's
we
awesome.
really appreciate it.
Thank you. I love being on, and I love what you're doing with your kids too. So keep up the great work.
Ready to change how you're seen and charge what you're worth? If you're not getting enough opportunities to meet with ideal customers, or the prospects you're meeting with just aren't ideal, it's most likely your brand that's holding you back. So if you're a coach, consultant, or expert who is on the rise, you need our ultimate guide to a freedom-based brand. Download it free now at BrandFaceGuide.com.